Today, instead of letting your emotions run high, Fortune 100 executive coach and best-selling author Michelle Smith is in studio with us today, and celebrity psychologist Dr. Jeff Gardere. They're both helping you challenge you to be happy anyway. Michelle Smith. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Erin. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Of course. Thanks for being here. Let's talk about being happy anyway on this terrifying day. Okay, so positive psychology is a new term that many people are talking about. What is it, and how does it play a role in your happiness?
Positive psychology is the science of happiness.
There we go.
And it is values-based. It pulls on our strengths instead of our weaknesses, and it pushes us forward faster.
We need that, right? Okay, so mental health is a universal human right. What was the theme of World Mental Health Day? What does it mean to you, and how is it affecting the community that you serve?
Well, it's absolutely a right, but we need to prioritize it, and so often we aren't intentional about our mental wellness. So, you know, the American Psychological Society says that 67% of people are reporting loneliness and isolation since the lockdown.
Wow.
And so if people are lonely, we need to find ways to get out of that blue mood.
Yeah.
And positive emotion is one way to do it.
There we go. Okay, so being overwhelmed, anxiety, and even being overworked are common feelings that people have. You suggest leaning on the power of positive emotions.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
So positive emotion, there are actually 10 of them.
Oh.
They're specific.
Let's
the
get
greatest
specific.
of these are love. There's joy, there's also gratitude, hope, serenity. I could go on. But we have to tap into these because we are hardwired. Our DNA is negative.
Yeah.
We're naturally negative creatures. That's why we lean towards the fight, flight, or freeze.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. I feel like I'm a flight type of gal. I just kind of, I skirt off, right? Okay. So no one likes when obstacles get in the way. I am a Virgo at heart. Anytime something does not go my way, I just completely shut down.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you said, we're negative creatures. So when that happens, why is it important to choose to be happy, especially in situations where we can't control what's going on?
Absolutely. So positive psychology tells us in research, happy people are successful people.
Oh.
It's not the other way around. You know, society would say, you go get the car, the job, you know, you get the money, you will be happy. But the reverse is true. We have to be happy first.
There we go. Okay, so what are a couple of ways that people at home can use positive emotions to boost their current state of being happy or increase their happy?
Right, so we have to be intentional. We talked about that. We also need to tap into professionals. But we also need to make sure that we are tapping into those triggers that give us access to these positive emotions. One that I'd love to mention is community.
Yes.
Community is where people gather, whether it's 2 or 3 or 4 people, but you don't feel alone, but there's something that goes on in the brain. You release the chemical oxytocin, which is the love chemical.
We need it.
And it causes us to bond.
All right. Well, you're actually a big advocate of coaching and counseling. How does that approach maybe help heal wounds faster? They always talk about therapy or being, like you said, community, talking to others, because we're naturally creatures that shouldn't be alone. You know what I mean? And like you said, loneliness is growing, especially after the pandemic.
Yes. So coaching pushes you forward, especially if it's evidence-based, and my training's in positive psychology and neuroscience. But we start with what you have today, and we look at your strengths. Therapy can look back at what's broken and start to piece those things together.
Yes.
So if you're healed and you're working with a coach, you go forward a lot faster.
Okay.
You accelerate.
There we go. We would love to accelerate, right?
Right.
Okay. What's the biggest message you want people to take from this?
Well, it's important to know that you must be intentional about your happiness. It's not enough to just say, oh yeah, I went to the State Fair of Texas and I rode a roller coaster and that's amusement. Well, you have to find ways to insert that during your day.
Yes.
Right when you feel the negative mood, to look for that trigger and engage it. Now, neuroscience says you need 3 at once to overcome a bad mood.
Okay.
So that's every 3 to 1. Triple down on the positive emotions.
So we're going to think about 3 things that makes us happy that we can look forward to, or something like that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I love all of your tips. Where can people find you so they can get tips from you as well?
Yes, you can go to elmichellesmith.com. Go to /yes please And you'll see all about the book that Dr. Jeff wrote the foreword about and why we began to collaborate.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Don't go anywhere. Coming up on GMT, the world premiere of Snapshots by award-winning composer and violinist Jessery Monk.